What do you think the impact of AI is going to be on Ethereum?
I mean, the impact of AI is going to be crazy, massive on the entire world in this century, right? The challenge is like, we have no idea what the direction is going to be, right? It's like, either it makes the world a total utopia, or it literally kills everyone, or we get some kind of, totalitarian centralization dystopia, or we get, like something that's like pretty pleasant, but it's still basically it's like only pleasant if you want to be a sheep, and otherwise it's like a global government, and then maybe 500 years later it slides off the rails anyway.
Co-founder of Ethereum Vitalik Buterin was recently interviewed by Sebastian Couture and Brian Fabian Crane and talked about Ethereum staking and decentralization and the impact of AI in Ethereum, amongst others. According to Vitalik Buterin, there are two ways to deal with Ethereum's proposer centralization problem. To reduce proposer centralization, he said that the first approach would require introducing multiple proposers or quarantining malevolent actors so the network can become more decentralized. A more decentralized network is perceived as more secure and trustworthy, attracting more users and investors, which can boost demand for Ethereum and potentially increase its price. Additionally, innovative transaction processing methods such as pre-confirmation mechanisms can provide users with more certainty and faster transaction times. This improved user experience can make Ethereum more appealing for everyday transactions and decentralized applications, dApps, increasing its adoption and demand. Leveraging Layer 2 solutions and shared sequencers can also scale the network more effectively, reducing transaction costs and congestion, which can attract more users and developers to the platform. Moreover, the integration of AI in Ethereum can lead to smarter, more efficient decentralized applications and smart contracts. AI can optimize processes and enhance predictive capabilities, making Ethereum-based solutions more sophisticated and appealing. This technological edge can draw more interest from developers and businesses, further driving demand for Ethereum. Overall, Buterin's vision for tackling centralization issues, improving transaction processes, and integrating AI can make Ethereum a more robust, user-friendly, and technologically advanced platform. These enhancements can increase adoption, drive demand, and ultimately lead to a rise in Ethereum's price. Watch clips from the interview to listen to what Vitalik Buterin says. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more content. Enjoy the video.
Basically, two paths out of that, right? So, like, these are, like what I call, like minimization and quarantine, right? Basically, so the first path basically says, like, we actually, do a hard pivot relative to, like 2021 era Ethereum thought. And we basically, go back to try to, like kill the beast of proposer centralization. And like one of the big ideas that's been floating around is like the multi-proposer concept, right? Like you elect multiple proposers in a slot, and then they each provide a list of transactions, and then the actual block gets formed by taking the union of those transactions and then like ordering them by fee.
That's
right.
like the Solana. That's
right. I mean, it's like Mystic Eddy is like the one of the protocols that's doing that. Yeah. So that's one of the ideas. And like if you can do that successfully, and if that works, then obviously, in some way the problem is solved, right? But there's obviously a lot of ifs on like like does that work? The other approach, which is quarantining, is basically essentially you take this concept of inclusion lists, and then you keep on like beefing up that concept until inclusion lists start to take up like basically almost the whole block. Right, and then the thing that you're auctioning off is basically just essentially, like top of block rights, right? And you auction off top of block rights with a different mechanism, and the idea would be that like even if like whoever you consider the most evil actor in the world like gets to control top of block for every slot, there's like still a limit to how much bad stuff they can do, and they can't actually like censor anyone for more than one slot or even for more than 0 slots, right? So that's also like a nice outcome. I mean, it definitely feels a lot less satisfying than just like getting rid of the problem in its entirety, but it's also an option.
Do you think PBS was a mistake?
I mean, I think PBS. Yeah, I would call PBS like firmly, like in the quarantining camp. I think given what we knew at the time, like it felt like a reasonable approach, and like you always it's hard to guess counterfactuals, right? And like there are counterfactuals that are like very dystopian, right? Like you could imagine a counterfactual where if people if there's common knowledge of the idea that like MEV is big, and the only way to get MEV is to join a big staking pool that can use these sophisticated strategies to get it, then like, instead of talking about like Lido at 29% and Coinbase at like 11% and like Kraken at 9 or whatever it is, we'd be talking about like, Lido at like, like 35 and then Coinbase at like 28 and Kraken at like 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people would be, like even more upset, right? So, yeah, like you always have to ask the question of like, what is the counterfactual, right? And I think at this point, it's still like somewhat hard to say.
What do you think are the main benefits of pre-confirmation? Or can you explain also what are pre-confirmations and
so pre-confirmations are like basically a way to give users assurance that a transaction will be included, or possibly even that a transaction will be included, and like what effect, like what post state a transaction will have before that transaction actually gets confirmed. And so today we have L2s already giving pre-confirmations on their own, right? Like when you use Optimism, like you get a pre-confirmation almost immediately, right? And there's like a bunch of layer 2s that do this. There are ideas around like shared sequencers that give shared pre-confirmations between sets of layer 2s. And then there's Justin Drake's idea of having an L1 wide mechanism that does that like for both L1 and for any L2s that are based rollups. And Justin's idea is basically to do that at like this, like basically at the level of like if you have sophisticated proposers, then those sophisticated proposers would be the ones that give those pre-confirmations.
Vitalik Buterin talks about two ways to deal with the proposer centralization problem in Ethereum: quarantining it by selling top-of-block rights at auction, or minimizing it through a multi-proposer idea. He also outlines continuous initiatives to strengthen the security and resilience of the Ethereum network. AI will have a huge impact on Ethereum and the rest of the world, with disastrous or utopian results. Short-term applications of AI in cryptocurrency include prediction markets and AI market makers. AI will be used in more crypto applications as it develops, such as on-chain governance and decision-making. Concerns exist, meanwhile, regarding the dangers and unfavorable effects of AI, such as centralization and disempowerment. Prioritizing human-AI collaboration and considering a possible future merger between humans and AI is crucial for reducing these hazards. This might improve humankind's lot in life and lead to advancements in science, longevity, and space travel. Not independent, self-governing creatures, but rather AI technologies that help humans are the aim. It's impractical to think that humans will remain in charge of extremely intelligent AI in the long run. Rather, what we should strive for is a cooperative junction of AI and humans that involves constant communication and interaction. Real-time communication made possible by brain-computer interfaces may eventually result in the merging of humans and artificial intelligence. There is no other way to guarantee that people maintain their empowerment and do not lose it. Let's go back to the interview and watch more clips to gain insights from Ethereum's co-founder, Vitalik Buterin.
I mean, the impact of AI is going to be crazy, massive on the entire world in this century, right? The challenge is like, we have no idea what the direction is going to be, right? It's like, either it makes the world a total utopia, or it literally kills everyone, or we get some kind of, totalitarian centralization dystopia. It's like only pleasant if you wants to be a sheep, and otherwise it's like a global government, and then maybe 500 years later, it slides off the rails anyway. And then, even if you go into like very near term, like present day stuff, right? It's people are saying like what's going to happen, when is there going to be the first disaster when something about AI like really kills people? It's like, no, like that's like reality, like in, like Ukraine and Gaza and other places, like every week, right? And that's that's like it's heavy stuff now. It's going to become heavier, right? And it's going to become like super important. And I think within the crypto space, like it's almost like it's easier to answer the near-term stuff because the near-term stuff just kind of feels more pleasant and happy, and we at least kind of know what's going to happen, right? Like with near-term stuff, you have we've had AIs being market makers for like 5 years already, and like that's like people talk about, oh, when will we see AI crypto intersections, and like that's been an AI crypto intersection that's existed for like over 5 years. AI is participating on prediction markets. We're gonna start to see more and more of that start to happen. Then we're gonna see AIs participating in other kinds of crypto applications, like starting to go beyond the financial. People are gonna try to like do the whole like AI judges on chain thing, and there's like versions of that can work. There's versions of that are totally horrible, and like people are inevitably going to try to do both, probably including some of the horrible stuff first, and like something's going to break at some point.
Do you hope you're going to merge with AI someday and become even smarter?
Okay, so like the whole like human AI, like collaborative intersection thing, like to me that's the best case scenario, right? Like to me, the kind of AI tools that I want to see is like not AI that just goes off on its own, right? And just like becomes a more and more autonomous agent and does crazy stuff. It's like AI that where you have this like constant ongoing interaction where like basically the AI is like actually helps you at like every step of the process, right? And like it continues functioning as a tool. And then like with things like brain-computer interfaces, we can have like more and like something closer to real-time communication. And then like eventually we end up merging with AIs at some point, whatever that means, right? Like that seems like the only path where that is realistic in the long term, right? Because in the long term, eventually something super intelligent is going to come out, and like it is going to win over non-super intelligent things, and like either that thing contains humans or that thing doesn't contain humans and humans are permanently disempowered, right? And like this idea that 100 to 130 IQ humans can like permanently like remain in control of like these like 50,000 IQ super intelligent like things is like totally unrealistic, right? It's like imagine if like you give a 6-year-old, like a legal control over like an adult company. It's like, well, no, like the adults are going to figure out how to make the 6-year-old order like whatever they actually wanted in the first place.
In other news, on July 23rd, trading will start for new investment funds that follow the price of Ethereum, the second most popular cryptocurrency. Known as exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, these funds will let investors purchase and sell Ethereum much like stocks. The Securities and Exchange Commission has approved at least 3 funds, and 8 are anticipated to launch concurrently. These Ethereum exchange-traded funds, ETFs, are modeled after Bitcoin tracking funds, which have amassed assets of nearly $54 billion since their January inception. 8 financial managers, namely Fidelity and BlackRock, have proposed to provide Ethereum ETFs that will be nearly identical to one another. Investor fees will therefore be competitive and range from 0.19% to 0.25%. The native coin of the commodity class Ethereum blockchain is called Ethereum. However, since ETFs are securities, they will be governed by various laws. Without requiring a cryptocurrency wallet, investors can access the underlying asset through exchange-traded funds, ETFs. Since they will be established as grantor trusts, investors will hold a portion of the trust's ether. Ethereum is more of a tech investment than Bitcoin, frequently considered a long-term hedge against inflation. The Ethereum blockchain seeks to do away with intermediaries and enable tokenization, digital identity, and 24/7 availability of financial services, including lending and trading. As we conclude, what are your thoughts on Vitalik Buterin's interview? Do you believe AI will have a significant impact on Ethereum? Do you think Ethereum isn't as decentralized as Bitcoin? Please drop your thoughts in the comments below, share this video, and hit your thumbs on the like button. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.